Okay, it's been a while since I've produced some serious content. Since I've got back from Bogota, a lot of stuff has happened, and it has caused me a bit of crippling depression. I knew it for a while. Like the night before they were about to leave for the Worlds, Lou called me at midnight, asking for a copy of his anti-doping test from October, and I already sensed something wrong. But this isn't just another conspiracy video. I want to go over everything that has happened leading up to this event from the Tokyo Olympics. Hopefully by the end of it you'll have your own judgment, and even if you're one of them person who has the everybody is on drug mentality. Okay, let's start. July 31st, 2021. Lou won a gold medal at Tokyo. He was on top of the world, winning the Olympics as a 37-year-old. When he got back to China, he was getting numerous sponsorships. Just watch some of these clips.
碾压为臣，扛起所有压力，承受命运之重，不惧一切境遇。
哇，不愧是举重头号重量级选手！
你刚才说啥？重量级，好。 我是奥运举重冠军吕小军，训练8000多天，抓举36万次，每周举起10吨。
一年又一年，梦想也一步步实现。你我的怡宝，相伴你。
双脚打开，双手向上，准备3、2、1。 1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8，2、2、3、4、5、6、7、8。
Financially, he was doing great, but at the same time, he had stopped training. Remember when he said he was going to go to the national games?
我们最关心的全运会比不比？
全运会肯定得上啊，
肯定得上啊，
没办法，
没办法
肯定得上。
Well, that didn't happen. Apparently, his province Tianjin wasn't going to finance his competition. And this is something I may need to brief you guys on. So, during the Chinese national game, each athlete will represent their own province. So, Lu will represent Tianjin, Tian Tao represents Hubei, Xu Zhiyong represents Zhejiang, and Li Dayin represents Chongqing. You get the point. After the Olympics, the Chinese national team disbands. All the athletes go back to their own province and compete for them. Similar to how athletes over in the West compete for a specific club, and more days of zero training began.
彩虹是希望的约定，也是在
跑调啦！
So, you all know the company I work for is called Xiaojun Barbell, and it doesn't really work if he's not training, is it? Oh yeah, around that time, the new weight class came out, 81 was cut, so he had another reason not to train. And you may ask, why don't he just join the gym? I asked him that, so he said basically for someone who has trained at the national team, it's really hard to just go to a regular gym. The equipment, the atmosphere, the rehab you get afterwards, I sort of get it. And eventually, I ran out of content to post. So I somehow snuck into the national team. From March till July, occasionally I would still remind him to come back, even as a coach. Plus, he looked really skinny. I don't think sponsors will want to touch that. Oh yeah, and the two Indonesian kids, Rizky and Rahmat, came onto our radar.
And a fast jerk, and he smiles, Max,
knows
before
he-
he's even put his feet together.
He knows he's done it.
Can he hold it? Can he hold it? 200 kilos!
Wow.
It is a new world record. Oh.
I think in the history of Chinese weightlifting, they've always had a backup insurance choice. With the two rising stars of the Indonesian team, Team China had to get someone. I mean, they have Xiaojun. I mean, I swear to God, during the last year, I have more videos of him fishing than training on my phone. So an update on Xiaojun, he is still recovering from his injury. The team doctors and the physios are working on it. Hopefully we'll see him on the stage soon. But on the other hand, I think another reason he's not training is because there's no one to motivate him. He just doesn't see any of the current 73s in Team China as a threat. And I think that's when the Chinese Weightlifting Association made a decision. We need to bring back Lu. Now, from all those months of zero training, bad diet, and social networking, guess what his body weight was when he came back? And what happened next? I tried to record as much as possible. Now, when he was back on the national team, he was taking it very slowly, maybe just an increment of 10 kilo each week. But we've already noticed he was happy there. I think it's because he can take a break from all the social networking. You can Google what the drinking culture is like in China or ask your Chinese friend. Therefore, I think being back in the national team was great for him, physically and mentally. I'm not sure what it was like during the previous Olympic cycle, but during the 10 weeks I was there, I noticed he was actively taking on a coaching mentoring role. I did ask him, realistically, do you think there is a chance of you going to Paris? He said he's not really sure. He knows that if Xiaojun is back in his prime condition, he has very limited chance. But with the new qualification rules, you only have to do well in one of the competitions over the next 2 years and just go way in at the rest of them. And whoever comes on top will go to Paris. So he does think he have a shot at it, but he told me he has another goal, which is to help Coach Yu and his buddy Tian Tao. I want to show you this photo from 2016 and tell me what you see. See it? Olympic champions. Well, except one. Basically, all of Coach Yu's athletes all have an Olympic gold medal now, except for one. After being together for so many years, they have developed a special bond. He felt that he should share the burden with the coach by helping him with some of the coaching responsibilities. He pays a lot of attention towards the young athletes, from making sure they don't skip their accessories, to correcting their form, or just to passing down his competition mentality. And he even said, this isn't just about coaching, it's about family. Okay, now onto the drug test. This is what I've gathered from the internet and some sources. EPO is undetectable in the urine after 3 days. Next, I know for sure he did not touch any form of injection during that time. The only thing he had was a COVID booster jab, which was to prepare him for Worlds, and which he wasn't going to compete, just going there to help out the coach. On the day he got tested by the ITA, he was the only person from the weightlifting team to get tested. EPO is not something they normally test weightlifters for, and apparently this could only happen if somebody reported to the ITA and told them to test Lu specifically for EPO. The ITA didn't fly into China like some Black Ops mission. It was carried by a testing agency in China. And this case is very similar to what happened to Liao Hui back in 2011. I'm going to quote this comment from Cyclist Strength's conspiracy video so that I don't get sued. You can pause this video to read the comments, but the one I really want to go over is number 3. Remember when I said earlier how each athlete represents their own province? And Liao Hui represents Hubei and Xiaojun represents Zhejiang? This was an interesting case because usually before the Olympics, China will host an internal test competition and the winner will get to go to the Olympics. And during the 2016 Chinese National Championship, Liao Hui beat Xiaojun, but he didn't get to go to the Olympics. Why? Again, from an inside source, I was told that the Zhejiang province appealed to the sport ministry because Liao Hui has a doping offense, so he shouldn't represent the country. Xiaojun, despite losing to Liao Hui, met the internal qualification total. Therefore, he got to go to Rio. I asked Coach Xu about this. He didn't really mention too much about the assassination, but he did hint that Liao Hui not going to the Olympics was one of the biggest disappointments in his career. Is this what's going to happen to Liu if he comes back? If he ever comes back? So what's next? I think there is a hearing next month, but I'm not too optimistic about it. And I've heard that no one has ever won the "my sample was spiked" defense. Chances are we may never see him compete again. But I do hope to see him train again. I know a lot of you enjoyed the Road to Tokyo series, and he did promise me that he will train 4 times a week. Let's see. Alright, hopefully this video was interesting to watch. If you think there's any other conspiracy series that I should look at, let me know. For now, goodbye.